Sorry for not posting yesterday. Stay tuned after the video. You will find out what went down yesterday and the new surprise that I have. Hi, welcome to the Golden Phoenix Project. My name is Jesse Abear. I am also known as the Golden Phoenix. I'm joined today by Duffy Rose and my co-leader, Eddie Fontaine. Today's topic, we are going to be discussing a little bit more on the last video of Believe in Yourself with the person that Eddie was talking about, Duffy. And without further ado, let the discussion start. Okay, Duffy, introduce yourself to the viewers a little bit and tell us what you would like to do in the future.
Well, me, I'm a person who's generally interested in cartooning, making characters and just designing characters for other people, basically. I like designing my own characters, but I'm a fan of just making characters for other people, seeing how the characters work out, learning about what makes a good character, how a character would function if they were a real person, things like that, really.
Putting yourself into your art is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what is it about art that specifically interests you so much and makes you want to go down the path of art?
Of this type of art?
Right.
Of character design? Well, for me, character design, it dates back to when I was a kid, where I pretty much just had an emotional attachment to, say, characters that I watched on TV. I really liked how, well, these characters aren't really real, but yet I still have an emotional attachment to them. They were so well written, and even the design, by the way, I was more interested in the design. Because I just like the design.
Okay.
But have something that's really not real invoke such an emotion from you, like sadness, happiness, a bit of a relatability to them, that I was like, I really want to do this. I really want to make characters of my own and also for other people, because I always found that to be interesting. See how people would like the way that you make their character and how they would make and what they would want and stuff like that. I prefer things like that.
Right. For like video games and comic book characters, and if you get to a bigger point to where video animators would come to you and ask for your help into more serious projects.
Pretty much, yeah. They would come to me just to say, we need a character, and here's what they're like, basically. Here's what they're like. And we need you to design a character around these traits. And I'll go ahead and kind of think, okay, I'll kind of base it off of like an animal or something like that, pretty much. And I'd give it to them and see if they like the design or not, and if they don't, then, I move on to the next one, stuff like that.
Right. So your goal is sort of to take either some kind of message or some kind of emotion or just something in general that'll make somebody feel something and put it into a design, basically.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
But because whenever you're creating characters, design is, of course, pretty
One of the
important.
most important factors.
One of the most important factors, as a matter of fact, yeah. That's just what I really like about designing and creating, pretty much.
Right, because it doesn't matter that it's not real, it can still convey something, really powerful.
Yeah,
well, one of the best examples is, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Which was pen and paper, on comic books.
Yeah.
And, they really convey, honestly, important messages. A lot of people think it's just some silly comic books.
Yeah.
But then you really look deep into it, and the reason the X-Men was created, for example, is to kind of represent diversity and such. The X-Men they represented minorities.
Yeah.
And kind of like the bad rap they got at the time, how life was much harder for them.
Yeah.
So you're able to take these things and convey something really, really powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm assuming, that's what you want to do.
Yes, stuff like that. I want to pretty much characters and draw for comics, basically. I mean, maybe my comics would be more underground, but I still would like to, do stuff like that.
Well, of course, it's all up to the individual and what they want to convey.
Yeah, I pretty much just want to convey how I pretty much feel in my art. How I know one of the emotions that I want to convey with a character is that they're trapped, in a sense, in this type of repetitive lifestyle, and that there is more out into the world than just what they go through all the time based off of things in my life. Because in my life, I pretty much, I kind of am raised on a farm, you would say. You've been to my house.
That's correct, yes.
And as a kid, I never really had many friends. I had friends, it's just that they were unable to really, visit a lot because of how far we lived.
Of course.
And I'd always be happy that I'd have friends over, but I mean, and having the type of mother that I have, that she was kind of somewhat overprotective, and I don't really get to drive around a lot because of her. I mean, I want kind of like to see what the world is like and see how it is in general out there. I mean, it may not be a happy place, but at least I get more life experience than just being on that farm all the time.
Yeah, just kind of getting out of, the rut you're in, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, I want to tell like an epic story of that nature.
Right.
Something like that. It's a work of concept, but, something. Yeah.
What are some of your hurdles that you've encountered so far while pursuing your dreams?
Well, for me, hurdles, I would say that mostly it's to do with myself. The hurdles are myself and my personal, emotional, just how I was raised, to always be, I was always never taken seriously as a kid in a way, or even as a teenager, or even kind of now. I don't feel like from my family in general, I'm being taken seriously, because when I was a kid, I mean, my mother pretty much controlled everything I did. That's why I kind of started drawing, because I could always kind of hide my drawings from her and kind of branch out a little bit more there.
Basically express yourself more than what you are able to with your family. You're able to feel more free in what you do and how you do it. There's no set boundary on your drawings, basically what you're saying.
There's no set boundary, and that's one of the things I really, really like about art as well, is that for me, I like to express myself in that way. I like to show who I truly am, because, we all, in a sense, wear a mask over each other. I mean, we wear a mask in a way where, what was it? Well, we wear a mask in public, and even, in a sense, around our friends.
Right.
And
we don't truly let anybody in and show the real us. If we were to do that, we are afraid that maybe somebody will take it the wrong way and judge us worse than what they would judge us, basically, in real life if they were to get to know us. Am I saying that right, Eddie?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I think you're doing good.
Okay, where do you see yourself in 10 years from now?
10 years from now, for me, I see myself as someone who has greatly improved in my art, because every day I've been pretty much doing nothing but draw and teach myself. But also I see myself designing characters for people online, like online avatars and things like that, getting kind of commissions and stuff like that, and also doing my main job, or a main job that I'm going currently for college for, which is occupational therapy. But during those 10 years, I'm kind of envisioning how, while I'm getting that degree, I'm still teaching myself, but also whenever I get out of the schooling for occupational therapy, I'm going to go right back into schooling for art, or for graphic design, or whatever I need. Whenever I go into that, since I've self-taught myself a lot of things, I'll be able to kind of understand what's going on, and I'll feel more comfortable with myself whenever, you know, I go into the to the classes and stuff like that. I mean, it would make me feel better about myself, and would make me feel like I'm actually being more professional than just going and teaching myself, because I feel like if I keep teaching myself and I don't really go into a school or anything like that for art, I don't feel like I would be taken seriously.
So while it's only a side hobby that you're going to be doing, you still want to perfect it because it's a passion of yours.
Exactly. It's always been a passion of mine to draw and just create characters, like I said. And like I said, it's just how it is, just how that goes.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, right now I would have to say it's really hard. Or whenever I was having finals, I just got finished with finals. I remember where I felt the most self-doubt, like whenever I'm busy with other things, or I had a lot of stuff that I had to do before I could get to my art. This is why I kind of want to go into a school for art as well. That I had the most self-doubt on myself, because I was like, man, I'm not really getting anything done. I'm not teaching myself, even though, like, in my spare time I looked up videos of drawing and tried to draw a little bit, but I was so preoccupied with studying for my other tests that I put them over priority of what my dream or the idea was.
So basically, you're putting your dreams on the back burner for right now
Correct.
in order to get your degree in what you want to get your degree in.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the thing about that is, unfortunately, it is kind of the best thing to do in this kind of field as well,
Yeah.
because you're not guaranteed to make it anywhere as an artist, a musician, or anything like that. You have to have, you kind of have to have that be the backup plan rather than have a backup plan for that. So
Yeah.
it's a very smart thing to do, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you are working on both, and that's a very good thing to do as well. So that way, once you get to this point where you're able to be an occupational therapist, it's not like you haven't practiced art at all in years and now you
Yeah.
have to start over or something like that. You're mastering both
Yeah.
at the same time.
And I was actually going to go off that topic right there. Whenever I was thinking it over, when I first came, or when I first started college, I was like, okay, I'm just going to do all my classes for occupational therapy, not really do any art, and then go into the art field. But then it wasn't until my second semester when I started to think, okay, what have I really done with my dream, to my dream? What have I accomplished towards that? And I looked, and I saw like empty pages of my sketchbook, and I'm like, I'm very disappointed in myself. So I started to, draw a little bit more. I mean, not really too intense like I do right now, but I mean, just draw like one or two pictures, practice lines, which is one of the things I actually kind of like, is just practicing lines. Just practice that, and I felt a little bit better, even though I wasn't designing extravagant characters or doing anything like that. I felt better about actually thinking, okay, I'm kind of doing, I'm doing a little bit every day just to kind of work towards that. And then I felt my lowest since I had to kind of come back or go back to the same school, because because I failed one of my main classes for, occupational therapy.
Right.
So, I went ahead and I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to do good in this occupational therapy, or one of the classes for occupational therapy. I'm going to do that. But, I'm looking at the line practices that I did, and you can tell I look kind of back when I first started doing the line practices and, general practice. Was that I was getting better, but I kind of also wasn't happy with myself, because I wasn't really practicing anatomy, I wasn't really practicing shading, I wasn't doing anything like that. And I started to look up more art videos, which I used to do a lot, but then since college started, I kind of went down on that and just focused on my work because that was a new experience for me. But recently I've been pretty much just looking up videos about art again, and they say that, yeah, it takes a long time for you to get good at art. And I was like, okay, let me think about this. So I'm going to, if I decide that right after I go and finish my occupational therapy degree, then if I start, I would probably be, I don't know, like right now I'm 20 years old. I would probably be, I'm just going to give myself a long run, about 25. And if I didn't do any drawing or just continue doing the drawings the basic practices that I was doing and not try anything else, I'd kind of suck at everything else while I'm at 25. And looking at the number of years that it takes to get good at art, I would be about 35 or, 35 when I'm kind of in either beginning to be professional or intermediate, depending on how much you work at it.
Of course.
And how much you seek to actually make how much you want to seek to actually learn, because whenever you try to learn a skill, if you just do the same thing over and over again, it's like you're not really doing much. Like I said before,
Right. To master all parts of the skill.
you have to master all parts. You can learn each thing individually and get good at that and then move on to the next one, but if you keep kind of just doing that one thing over and over and over again and not learn anything else, then you're gonna kind of suck at everything else, like I said.
Right.
Yeah.
How have you put yourself out there to where the world could see who you really are?
Okay, about that. I had one of the things that's another, I would say, going back to the previous topic, my hurdles, that's one of the things I really am scared of criticism. That's me personally. And what I pretty much have done so far is that, well, I kind of just post my art on, small servers, just like where I do have a specific interest, but these people are kind of interested in it, but not exactly. And I've done that, and I've put some on servers where one of my heroes is actually a part of, and I'm too nervous to put that because I mean he's my hero, and yeah, he could give me good advice. It's just I just worry about it,
Right. Well, the thing about that is, honestly, no one's really ever gotten anywhere from just getting compliments. Yeah, it's nice to get the compliments, of course. It always helps. It boosts the motivation aspect of it, of course.
Yeah.
But at the same time, let's say they just say, oh, I really like, your shading and everything.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It really doesn't help you much learn what you're supposed to do. Yeah, you kind of know, well, I can continue doing that, but you don't know what you need to change.
Yeah.
If you get people telling you, the things that they dislike, and it's actually, a way that'll teach you,
Mm-hmm.
then you learn so much more there. You learn, all right, well, this isn't something that's just a matter of preference. This is something that's actually maybe a matter of skill, something that I can work on.
Mm-hmm.
If you're getting criticisms that are negative, you need negative criticisms if you're going to move forward. It's the only way you really will. And then in regards to, only posting your stuff in places where people have those similar interests,
Yeah.
that's another thing that you don't really want to do,
Really.
because if you're only posting it there, then again, you're not going to get much feedback. You're not going to get as much feedback as you want.
It's
You
best
can-
to have creative criticism
Yeah.
and perfect yourself
Mm-hmm.
than if you don't have criticism at all.
That's true.
Any criticism is good criticism, basically is what a wise man once said to me.
Okay.
And you want to take this stuff and you want to put it anywhere you really can. It doesn't matter if, these people don't really have the same interest as you. If
Yeah.
it's a medium where you can post art, then go ahead and post it there. It doesn't matter if it's not their personal taste, because, for example, me, when it comes to music, one of, the things I love the most,
Yeah.
yeah, I may be more a rock fan than anything and a little bit into rap. But when it comes to certain, pop artists, even though it's not my personal style or my taste,
Yeah.
I can admit when certain ones are talented, when certain ones do in fact have skill. and as well as I'd be able to, provide criticisms there if need be. So it doesn't really matter if it's not their style. Post it anywhere you can, because nobody's going to be going to you.
Yeah.
You have to take your art and you have to put it out there yourself. You have to go to the people if you want to get the feedback.
That's true, that's true. That's one of the things that I always kind of fear about, is actually going to people, because in my childhood and teenage years, I never really went to people. People always kind of came to me. And that's what, I admit that that's one of my things that I have trouble with, but I mean, I resolved to, I want to try to get better at that, like you said. Like you said, I need to go and go to people instead of just.
Right. And if you do eventually want people to go to you, it will happen, occasionally, eventually, but it's going to have to start with you going out to people first. For example, you want to do commissions eventually, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's say, you go out, you put yourself out there, you show people your art style, and they really like it because you went out there yourself. Well, eventually, they can, either come back to you if they need another commission, or if somebody else is looking for a commission, they can recommend you to that person as well. But it's all got to start, with you putting yourself out there first.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Never really thought of it that way. Thank you.
Yeah, I know it's definitely one of those things that's hard to get past at first, and it's okay that you're nervous about it,
Yeah.
as long as you don't let that prevent you from going forward, because all of us are going to be nervous about plenty of things. It's just human nature.
Yeah.
But as long as we move past it, that's how we're really going to succeed, and that's how you're going to be able to, really move forward in your path as an artist.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, before we end this video, any advice for any viewers?
Well,
Any or
like we've been saying to Duffy, just put yourself out there. No matter what it is that you want to do, whether it be, it doesn't have to necessarily be in the arts, such as, actual art with drawing, painting, etc., or if you want to be a musician, whatever it is you want to do in life, put yourself out there. Because again, the people will not come to you. You have to go to them.
basically that takes me back from a few days. I had talked to one of a good family friend, and he had said to me, "You're at the bottom. Put yourself out there. Let people know who you are." And I mean, you're at the bottom. There's nowhere to go but up. Is basically what he's told me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's one specific example that I actually learned about recently. Is one of the most well-known actors of our time right now is Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
He may not be as popular now as he used to be, but there was one point where he was one of the biggest out there.
Yeah.
And the way he actually, got his big start was, of course, everyone knows the movie Rocky.
Yeah.
And he actually wrote the screenplay for it in, I believe it was about 3 days himself after watching a big match, I believe involving Muhammad Ali. And he went out there himself to try to get this movie made. He put himself out there. Nobody came to him and was like, "Hey, you got any movie ideas?" He put himself out there. And one of the big things that he kind of, in a way, demanded was, they had some production companies that were like, "Well, we like what you got right here, but for the title character, we want an A-list actor to play it, so that it'll really blow up." And he was very, very insistent on, "No, I have to play the main character." He put himself out there, really, worked hard for what he wanted, and look how big that movie became. It only had a budget of about, I believe about $1 million, and it made far, far more than that. And it wouldn't have gotten to that point if it wasn't for the fact that he put himself out there. And he really, he didn't take no for an answer. He put himself out there, he said, "This movie will be made, I will be the main character," and now look how many sequels they have. Even to this day now, we have spin-offs of it with the Creed movies that are coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, it was nice having you on today, Duffy.
Nice being here. I was so happy to actually be interviewed for something like this.
Okay. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, hit the post notification button, and hit that share button, and share this video to where we could show that we're encouraging people to pursue their dreams and to be original, basically. The whole point of this project is to raise awareness for mental health and people struggling with that, along with bullying. And we also go by the motto that if we could change one person's life at a time, that is the world to us. Thank y'all for joining me after the video, guys. The video is probably sponsored by Intotheam. Their link will be in the description below, along with a 10% discount code off of 10% of your purchase that you make online. Please help me by thanking them, by following them on Instagram at Intotheam. And while you're at it, please follow the project's Instagram at the Golden Phoenix. Both of those Instagrams will be in the description below. Have a nice day. Have a blessed week. The next time I see y'all, I guess it'll be pretty shortly because tomorrow's video will be up on time.